What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV. In this video, we're gonna talk about the Google Pixel 6 Pro, which is not out at the time of making this video, but it will be within the next couple of weeks. And this is a phone that's going to hopefully change the mobile phone industry because of the fact that we're getting a phone from Google that's gonna have very high-end specs. So it's gonna perform against those big flagship phones from Samsung and Apple, but at the same time, the price should come in very, very competitively, maybe even a little less than some of those phones. And at the end of the day, give us a great user experience. So I wanted to talk about the 5 features and things that I'm most excited about trying on the new Google Pixel 6 Pro. The first one is performance. Because of the fact that the last year, maybe 2 you could throw in there, the last few Pixel phones haven't been amazing. They've been a little bit maybe middle of the road type phones, and this is seemingly looking like a year that the Google Pixel is going to put out a phone that's going to be absolutely amazing. It's got their own chip in there, the Tensor chip, and it performs, at least on a benchmark level, somewhere between a Snapdragon 865 and a Snapdragon 888. But benchmarks, if you know, don't tell the whole story, because you could use a phone from a few years ago and have it on vanilla Android and it runs perfectly fine. It runs really, really well. So I would love to just try this phone out with the new Tensor chip, and you're gonna get great performance. You're gonna get the vanilla, beautiful Android, which is a really clean experience on Android. I like to call it the Apple of Android, and you might look at that as a bad thing, but I don't look at it like that because it's the way Google intended Android to be. So when you make something like that, you can come up with a nice clean experience, a nice fluid performing experience, and the Tensor chip molded in with that software is going to be an awesome thing. And the next thing I want to talk about, the thing I'm most curious about trying, number 2, has to also do with the Tensor chip and the software and the performance, and that is battery life. Battery is huge on this phone, 5,000 milliamps. Now it's going to have 120 hertz refresh rate, which could eat away at that battery. It's going to have 5G, which could eat at that battery. But when you factor in that Google's controlling the whole software experience, Google's controlling that Tensor processor, Google's creating the phone, you're having this whole complete in-house experience of software and performance and hardware and battery, and just molding it and melding it all together to potentially create one of the best battery life showings on an Android phone and potentially any phone. I would love to see this right now compete against the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max. Those are getting crazy battery life experiences on their respective platforms, and I'm hoping that Google's going to be able to provide the same kind of experience, maybe even beat it on the iPhone with this new Pixel 6 Pro. It's going to be super awesome, and I'm so looking forward to it. Now, I threw in the 120 hertz of the display, and this is going to be number 3. 120 hertz on that refresh rate for the display. It's gonna be the first time for Google on this front. They've always been going up to about 90 hertz. They're gonna go to the full 120, which is gonna match what you get on the new iPhones, the Pro versions, and also on Galaxy phones and a bunch of other phones as well. But also, I'm feeling like this is gonna be a top end display. It's got AMOLED display, and in the past, you'd use a Pixel phone and half brightness was pretty dim. I'm thinking that it's going to be a very bright display as well, so that you're going to be able to have it at half brightness and not have to put it all the way up just to see it outside or indoors, or, you know, I love a bright display, but sometimes those Pixel displays in the past have been pretty dim, and I've had to put it up to about 80 or 90% just to be able to see it indoors and out, because I'm a little bit older. I'm not like a young chicken anymore. So I definitely want this bright display, and I really think they're gonna come through with the Pixel 6 Pro having one of the brighter displays. Obviously the refresh rate's gonna be a big thing. It's a big display at that, matching what you're gonna have on the iPhones and the Galaxy phones, higher end Galaxy phones. So awesome stuff coming out for this Pixel 6 Pro on the display front. Probably the most obvious one is the camera. You're gonna get up to a 50 megapixel main camera, 48 megapixel telephoto. You're gonna get a 12 megapixel ultra wide. You're gonna get a 12 megapixel camera on the front, up to 4K video on the front and the back cameras. So if you've used Pixel phones in the past, or if you haven't, you probably know Pixel phones take some of the best photos that you could want on a smartphone camera. They've always been the best for, I think, really. When I take a photos of friends and family or anything really, I want to take it with a Pixel phone. I love traveling with Pixel phone cameras. They are so good at taking great photos. They make anyone look good, and these are going to definitely improve. Their newer cameras, they're upgraded cameras. The phone's more powerful overall, so that helps with the processing power behind the camera experience and the AI that they put in with these photos, and it's gonna make for one heck of a camera experience overall. And they're supposed to have totally improved the video experience on here versus what they've had in the past. They've always had really good video, but they're supposed to take it that maybe notch or two above to compete with the iPhones, to compete with the Galaxy phones, to compete with the Xiaomi's and the Huawei's. And this is gonna be a huge upgrade with photos and videos this year with the Pixel 6 Pro. And the last one is the overall feel and look of the phone. It's got this old school kind of Google Huawei phone that they put out years ago with that camera bar on the back of the phone. It looks interesting, it looks kind of big. It looks cool, it looks different compared to a lot of the other phones that are coming out. Maybe not so much on the front, it doesn't look different, but in the back it looks different. And I like phone manufacturers that take a little bit of a dare, you know, a little bit of jump in the deep end of the pool to see like, hey, it's a little bit different. Are you guys cool with this? And I love it. And it's gonna go with, obviously Google always puts out their own case accessories and charging accessories and things that you can buy to make it the whole Google experience. So fit, feel in your hand. Totally stoked about it being a little bit different, but also a little bit about the same. So there you guys go. Those are the top 5 things I'm really looking forward to trying on the new Pixel 6 Pro. Let me know what your top 5 are in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road.